Ink Master, not to be confused with Drink Masters, is a bake-off-like tattoo competition show that ran from 2012 to 2020 on the Paramount Network, formerly known as Spike TV. In January 2020, Judge Oliver Peck, known primarily for slamming the door to the loft really loud, was kicked off the show when old photos of him in some really racist costumes involving blackface were resurfaced by TMZ. He made an apology for this on Instagram, which he has since deleted. The news of him leaving Ink Master broke the day after the premiere of the show's 13th season, Turf War. Pretty much everything that was shot for this season turned out really good, but it fizzled out to no ending and no winner when the live finale was cancelled due to COVID. 5 months later, Ink Master as a whole was cancelled as part of the Paramount Network's, as Wikipedia so succinctly puts it, aborted rebrand as a movie network. 5 months after that, in February 2021, it was announced that Ink Master was being revived on one of the worst streaming apps I use, Paramount Plus. After that, as far as I could tell, was radio silence for a year and a half, and I started to honestly doubt that the show was ever coming back. With the brutal year Ink Master had in 2020, I just wasn't sure if there was enough passion around it to really make it happen. But now, Ink Master Season 14 is out, it's done, and I have to say, it's really good. If you haven't seen it, I strongly encourage you to get Paramount Plus and watch it legally. It's my favorite bake-off-like by far, and I'm not even a tattoo person. I've been really happy with how much promotion I've seen for the revival, but they haven't renewed it yet, and in the age of streaming, what you watch always has an influence on something somewhere. If you've never seen Ink Master and you're in it for the long haul, I would recommend starting with Season 2, but if you just want to jump in now, the season is great and I think you'll have a good time. The rest of this video is an in-depth review of the season with spoilers for all of Ink Master through Season 14. Alright, so there's a lot new here. The show is uncensored now, which actually started with Turf War's YouTube half finale. Winning no longer gets you a feature in Inked magazine, but the prize money has been upped from $100k to $250k. There's an all-new judges panel, with the host being Joel Madden, lead vocalist of Good Charlotte. He definitely gives me more normal guy energy than Dave, but he clearly loves the show, and he grew on me over the course of the season. Ink Master's own Ryan Ashley is also on the panel as the unofficial black and gray expert, which I think is a great choice. Ryan is basically Ink Master royalty at this point, and she's done pretty much everything you can do on the show. In her first season, she became the first female Ink Master and the competitor with the least amount of experience to win the title. Since then, she's been an angel on the Ink Master Angel spinoff, won Clash of the Coaches from Battle of the Sexes, and even been a judge on the Ink Master Grudge Match spinoff alongside DJ. She's very entertaining and has a knack for using logical arguments to make a compelling case for her preferred tattoos. My favorite judge Ink Master has ever had. Ami James is taking over from Chris Nunez as the resident Japanese tattooing expert. Fun fact, those two co-own Miami Ink's love-hate tattoos. Ami comes off to me as a man of few words. He's okay, but I'd rather have Chris back. Nico Hurtado is the color realism expert on the panel. I don't have much to say about him, but I thought he offered good insights every episode. Everyone's most interesting judging definitely happened in the finale, so I'll save that for later, and for now just say that overall I like this judges panel.
What the hell is going on with this?
But that is not all.
Oh yeah, Dave is still here, kind of. He's now the master of chaos, only popping up through a screen to throw his classic twists in the game. These conversations have a pre-recorded feel to them, which certainly isn't helped by Dave wearing the same thing every episode, but there are just enough little moments of interaction that I believe these actually are live conversations, and the stilted feeling they have is probably the same stilted feeling all video calls have. I think for a lot of people, Dave literally phoning it in is probably the part of the reboot that makes it feel the most like a direct-to-DVD sequel, and it still kind of gives off that vibe to me. I could see them doing something different in a potential next season, but it's not a big deal. There's tons of speculation out there as to why they did this. All I'll say is I'm sure everyone had their reasons. So that's most of the stuff that's been rebooted. They've also made some small updates to the format of the show. For instance, every contestant that's still in the game watches the eliminations now instead of just the ones who are in the bottom. And the judging this season was very straightforward for the most part, with the jury of peers not showing up until the third to last episode. I think these are smart improvements, and I like that they seem to be considering their approach to every part of the show in this new era. Okay, let's get to the action. What's going down on Ink Master Season 14? Well, although they made some changes to the show where they felt it was appropriate, Ink Master still has one foot firmly planted in its roots. This season started with 10 returning artists, and I remember my first reaction to this slate of competitors being that it seemed like they wanted an attractive returning cast but weren't really able to pull a lot of the top picks you would think of, and that the cast seemed a bit too small.
I know, she's great, but we're top 10 right now. Think about it that way.
In hindsight, I probably should have realized that there would be a twist a few episodes in where they did something like, oh, I don't know, drop 4 Ink Masters into the game. Ink Master has been addicted to bringing back previous contestants since Tattoo Baby got voted back at the end of Season 2, with the only season not involving them in some major way since then being Peck vs. Nunez. And man, they really let loose here. On top of the 10 returning players that were there from the beginning, they also brought back all 3 Masters from Return of the Masters, as well as Tony from Clean vs. Christian. They wanted 4 big stars in there, and I feel like they would have wanted Ryan in Tony's spot if she hadn't been a judge. I really hate whenever reality competition shows add people after the start, but I think it does speak to how incredibly confident this season feels that they had these 4 all-stars in their back pocket and didn't advertise them at all. Maybe it's the nature of how the Masters' decisions to come into the game were made on the spot, but still, I'm kind of impressed. And I gotta give this whole cast props because I think they turned out a really entertaining season. So many of them had interesting storylines like Chris being eliminated after declining safety, Pond teaming up with the Masters even though everyone else was way more willing to work with him and then immediately losing Steve and going home next. For that matter, Steve getting eliminated when 3 Masters were in the bottom of their first round. I feel a little bad for Steve that both times he's returned he wasn't really able to get off the ground, but I have so much respect for him continuing to compete even with nothing left to prove after his dominant win. He's one of my favorite Ink Master characters for this and other reasons. And who could forget Portraits turning out to be Tony's kryptonite? Tony is awesome and I don't want to take anything away from him, but he was ready to quit as soon as he heard what the challenge was, and I have to wonder what his plan was for Portrait Day going into Clean vs. Christian. A true what if in Ink Master history. I would say this cast not only brought good storylines but good vibes. Ink Master's lounge segments have historically been the dumbest part of the show, with a bunch of fighting that usually just feels fake, or at the very least substantially egged on by the producers. I can only imagine how I would struggle to perform at this if I was on Ink Master. I'd just be throwing out corny lines like, "You're not the Ink Master, you're the Stink Master." But this season, these segments were more just normal conversations about the game from competitors who respected each other. Maybe it's the lack of teams or everyone being grateful they get to do the show again, I don't know, but I do know that I like this version of the show better. Villains are great, but the fact that everyone was just being themselves on this season made the emotions hit that much harder when they did come out. And honestly, I'd rather not watch a show that feels like it's trying to be mean-spirited. The thing about this show that feels the most mean-spirited now might actually be the phrase, "You do not have what it takes to be Ink Master." This was the first season it's been said to someone who already had the title, and there were also just so many heartbreaking eliminations this season.
The judges have decided you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master. The judges have decided, Tony, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master. Well, you know what part I gotta do here?
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
The judges have decided, Anthony, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master this time. Unfortunately, I'm the one who has to say this next part.
Let's do it.
The judges have decided, Angel, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master. The judges have decided, Bob, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master. Thank you.
And yeah, it's time to talk about the star of the season, Bob. I was a fan of Bob after Turf War, but I think he became one of the all-time great Ink Master characters this time out. In addition to being so kind and likable, he put out some unbelievable tattoos this season, and he was always striving to push himself further, until his wildly ambitious master canvas got the best of him in the end. Whenever I watch reality shows where the winner is decided before the season starts airing, I like to try to guess who's going to win based on how the show is edited. It's something I picked up from being a super fan of Survivor, and it can get ridiculously complex, but basically what I look for are people who are only shown being wrong when absolutely necessary, and who get a good amount of screen time in the premiere and a moderate amount throughout the season. It doesn't always work, but it will almost always get you someone who goes far. All this is to say, I thought Bob was winning for basically the whole season, and as someone who was paying close attention to his storyline, I thought it was very well crafted, and I think the editors really made an effort to give him his flowers and show him the way that he deserved. I mean, they basically gave him a winner edit, with the only sign that he wasn't winning being that it was too perfect. A lot of that is just Bob being incredible, but I think there's more to it. Overall, they did a really good job of telling the story of Gian and Bob's alliance taking over, with Bob being painted as DJ would say, the brains of the operation. Their story begins in episode 2 when Gian wisely clocks Bob as someone who's going to be a force in the game and identifies his entire alliance.
Bob, he's a big competitor. He knows how to play this game, and that makes me very nervous. I gotta figure out some way, somehow, to get Bob in my good side. I know Bob, Hiram, and Angel, they're all together. They're not gonna shoot against each other. I gotta figure something out to where I can unite myself to them and then it's gonna be us against all the other competitors.
Bob, meanwhile, expresses frustration with Gion's performance in the Flash Challenge.
Gian is making this challenge more difficult. He keeps second guessing what we're doing. Stop for a second and take a breath and get on the same page.
We then get an alliance building scene between Gian and Bob.
How about we make an alliance of 5 people? We'll bring your 2. We'll bring Pawn into this thing.
Pawn. No matter what happens, at the end of the day, I have Hiram and Angel, and that is the true alliance. It's not hurting me in any way to team up with you.
It's gonna change the game.
Hell yeah. Gian wants to have an alliance with me. I'm not gonna betray my friends. I got your guys' back, so I want you to be in on it too.
From the very beginning, Bob has the upper hand in the relationship. Hiram and Angel are the true alliance, and Gian is just Bob's pawn. And I'm just going to tell you right now that the tone of Gion's edit will never again be as good as it is in this episode. The tattoos are what they are, and Gian beats Bob in the end, but after this, Bob is going to get credit for a lot of good things, and Gian is going to get credit for a lot of bad things. And I think it actually starts right here with this alliance building scene, because think of how easy it would be for this storyline to continue being about Gian being the most perceptive player and best strategist there. Bob is the one doing all the work, while Gian is the mastermind running the show. But instead...
Gion's like a conspiracy theorist in the world of Ink Master. He's got all these elaborate schemes and plans, but he has no fucking clue what's going on, and he has less of a clue of what he's actually doing.
Gian is trying to rush through things a little bit too quick.
This shit's gonna all blend.
Yeah, but don't get him too close. You need to keep the tail wide. If he can just calm down for a minute and take a second, I know we're gonna fucking smash this thing.
And they do smash that thing, by the way. They win that challenge, and all of the credit goes to Bob. Then in the next episode, Anthony says no one can beat him in his style, and they cut right to Bob planning on doing exactly that.
Nobody can beat me in illustrative.
Gotta beat a master to be a master.
Man, I think you beat the master today.
Yeah, Bob. I think you beat him.
In this instance, it was the Ink Master who was wrong and Bob who was right. And then guess what? In that same episode, that happens a second time.
Angel had my favorite illustration, but I don't think that she had the opportunity to finish it. I think time got her on that.
But also, Holly did have quite a few errors in her tattoo, too. A lot of lines didn't meet up, some of them overlapped. You've got color that didn't blend into the black.
If I had to pick one, just being 30 years in the business, Angel goes home.
I feel like you shouldn't have to worry, but at the same time, you gotta fight these guys.
Holly, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master.
The next episode, Gian wants to keep their Flash Challenge design simple, and Bob says they won't win if they do that. He's right, they lose the challenge because the design is too simple.
Are we gonna do a pattern on this pot?
Do we really have the time? Let's keep it simple and we're gonna win.
I wouldn't be just simple, you gotta put a little pattern or something.
Then blue for the zigzag?
Orange and blue?
Wait, did I fuck up?
Oh, that was half a cup.
Ah, shit, what an idiot.
Stop going so fast. The Masters came in with all that energy and won the Flash Challenge, but I don't think that they're ready for what's about to happen because this season has been crazy.
That probably sounded like typical shit talking, right? Yeah, I bet it was, but guess what? It turns out to be as correct as it could possibly be.
We have 3 Ink Masters in the bottom this week.
The next episode, Gian is subtitled while giving Pawn advice that sends him directly out of the game.
I kind of want the B.
The B?
But I just don't want to do all that
she wants a B wrapped in the web.
Yeah, no.
Get the fucking B. Get that.
That's what I was thinking.
Come on, just don't go crazy.
You had the opportunity to pick whatever you thought you were the strongest at, and the choice you made might have cost you $250,000. My vote is for Pawn.
God damn.
The judges have decided, Pawn, you do not have what it takes to be Ink Master.
The next episode, he knocks over an easel in the Flash Challenge.
Gian?
Shit.
Bob is given credit for a risky skull pick that pays off.
That's interesting. Bob took that one for himself. Wow.
It's a gamble, but it pays off if the fucker can sit.
It's a thing of beauty when that's your first tattoo. I can show you my first tattoos. They don't look like that.
The next episode, Angel and DJ make it crystal clear where Gian and Bob stand.
DJ may be a lot of things, but stupid he is not. Bob is the ultimate juggernaut in Flash challenges.
Had to steal the brains of the operation.
Gian gets in this mode where he gets defeated during Flash challenges. Every Flash challenge, Gian, gotta believe you're gonna win. Gian, if he thinks he's not gonna win, will just throw his hands up and give up. You do it every Flash challenge.
Just the ones I've lost.
I know the uglier this looks, the further he's gonna slip into his pit of despair and doom, and I can't let him do that today.
And the rest is history. Bob is shown being correct one more time when he talks about his master canvas potentially being his demise.
I'm not doing a dragon with scales done in a traditional Japanese sense. I'm going to do something in my illustrative style.
It's pretty fucking bonkers if you ask me, man.
I'm gonna throw everything that I know from different pieces and parts of art and throw them into this tattoo.
I've made it through this competition 2 times and gotten to the fucking end going for it, man.
Either I will hit it home and it's gonna be the best thing ever, or I fail. And there's no in between.
It's almost like they wanted to give Bob credit not just for his 3rd place finish, but for Gian's 2nd place finish as well. So I have to acknowledge the editors both for somehow convincing me DJ wasn't winning and also giving Bob a fantastic Fallen Angel story that hurt every bit as much as it should have. I've seen some backlash online to this season just being a 3rd win for DJ when someone like Bob would have felt more satisfying, but Bob beat 3 Ink Masters and he almost beat DJ. On a good day, he probably would have been able to do it, especially with this judges panel, and I think this season was worth it just to see him try. Of course Bob deserves the title, all 3 of these people are honorary winners in my book, but I don't know if I buy that this season would have been more fun to watch if the Masters hadn't been there and he had just been the clear frontrunner the whole time. At the end of the day, the fans love Bob, the judges love Bob, and the other artists love Bob, and I have no doubt that if Ink Master continues, he'll be on it again, hopefully to finally take home the W. Alright, let's talk about that finale, specifically the final 2. Gian, who it must be said has done what most would consider a solid and ambitious master canvas before, chose to essentially do a giant version of what this show would consider a normal tattoo. I actually kind of like this choice. It feels like a sort of minimalist rejection of the over-the-top pieces you usually see here that feels true to the core of what the artists do on Ink Master for the rest of the season. Put solid, readable, easy to understand tattoos on people. But I would like it a lot more if it didn't come after a whole season of Gian staying in his neo-traditional comfort zone. Also, if you're going to do this, it has to be perfect, and this one wasn't. The master canvas has always been the spot where the artists use the canvases as actual canvases for a piece of capital A art, but DJ's piece made even his other winning master canvases look safe by comparison. Ultimately, the finale came down to a tie between the safest master canvas of all time and the boldest, and I don't love where Ami and Nico came down on it. Obviously, anyone who's ever set foot on the set of Ink Master is more qualified to judge these tattoos than I am. I'm just saying that as a viewer, I like how Joel and Ryan voted more. I don't think it's really fair to criticize the artists who randomly also had to make this vote, but Angel's vote definitely surprised me after everything she said about the pieces before.
He did not bring to the table something new. I have a hard time using my vote for Gian as somebody who we want to crown Ink Master. I would have pushed the envelope a little more. Tattoos like this that bend our perception of what should happen in a tattoo are just ballsy. I'm torn between Bob and DJ. My vote is for Gian.
In the end, DJ's the winner, and although it may feel a little anticlimactic, it's a huge accomplishment that he 100% deserves. Personally, I think it's cool that the only person to win Ink Master more than once has done it 3 times. It's a level of dominance that might never be topped, and DJ was already one of my favorites. In some ways, the writing was on the wall as soon as the Masters were given the chance to join the game, but DJ did anything but coast. Like I said at the top, I really like this season, and I think it could be just a taste of what's to come. Ink Master hasn't had this few artists or this few episodes since season 1, and in a way, this is a new first season. How many people actually sign up for Paramount Plus and watch this will determine the future of the show. I can't promise that they're looking to expand everything. Once reality shows get cheaper, they tend to stay that way, but I think this was a very promising comeback, and I really hope we get more. Overall, I'm giving this season an A-. Bye!